Hey, what's up guys? Kalem or KalemsFishtanks, and in today's video we're just gonna go look around at all my tanks, give you guys a bit of an update. I'm gonna take a step back from my 7.5 gallon cube and tell you guys what has been going on while I've been focusing on that tank. But anyways guys, let's get started by talking about the 40 breeder. So not very much has happened with the 40 breeder in terms of plants and all that stuff. I have recently done a big trimming, that's why it looks so empty in the back corner. And as you can see, right in the bottom corner right here, I have some Rotella rotundifolia. Lately I've been selling a lot of plants online to people around me locally, and I've been making a bit of money, so I may talk about that in the future, how to sell plants and make profit off of them. So down in this bottom area right here, I have a little piece of Blixa japonica. This stuff I found at my local fish store. They don't usually have it, so I decided to pick it up. It's a plant I really like. And I'm probably going to move it back over where these swords are. I'm trying to sell these swords. I don't know, I want to eventually introduce some plecos to this tank, and I know they'll eat them. So I'm just going to try to sell them and then move the Blixa there as a replacement. Also, beside the swords, you won't be able to see it. I'll try to zoom in on it. But I added some Graciola viscidula. I also added some of this to my 7.5 gallon. I just added the extra into this tank, and also as a backup if it doesn't do well. In the 7.5 gallon cube, I don't know how hard of a plant. Like I said, I know nothing about it, but I'm super excited to see if it does well in this tank. So other than those two additions to the tank, nothing has really changed plant-wise, but I have had a couple of changes fish-wise. I don't really update you guys on what's going on with my fish, but currently I have just a pretty large school of Harlequin rasboras and lamb chop rasboras, kind of a mix of the two, as well as some silver-tip tetras. I used to have a small school of Norman lampeyes killifish, but I'm pretty sure most of them jumped out of the tank, and I currently only have two. As well as I have a small school of Corridoras, as well as Autosynclus, and I have one rainbow fish. I used to have three, but two jumped out, as well as one peacock gudgeon. And alongside those, I have two Siamese algae eaters and one really weird one. I'll try to find you guys him and show you guys what he looks like. So down in this bottom corner, you can see two of my Siamese algae eaters. This one right here is the weird one. I've had them for all the same time, and you can see how much bigger this one is compared to the other one. He hasn't grown at all since I've had him, and he's a pretty weird fish. He's got some messed up finnage as well, and he's got stunted growth, so hopefully he keeps doing well. I've had him for a couple of months now, and he seems to be doing fine, but he's just not growing compared to the other ones, but he seems to be eating and doing fine. So now for a bit of sad news for this tank. You guys may remember my Epistogramma McMasteri nugget. She is the kind of mascot for my channel. She is in my profile picture. She was my favorite fish in this tank and my favorite of all my fish, super personable, but recently she passed away. I came downstairs and found her belly up. I don't know what happened. She was eating and everything, so that was just super sad. But yeah, anyways, let's move on to the 10-gallon tank, my low-tech breeding for profit tank. So here is my 10-gallon low-tech breeding for profit tank. In it I have a small colony of yellow jacket tiger antlers that I have constantly breeding. Currently I don't really have any big females or anything. I think my big female passed away recently, but this tank not much really changes. The fish, I just kind of let them do their thing, and I occasionally do water changes. This tank is kind of neglected, and for that reason I'm probably going to be taking it down in the near future. I'm not really passionate about breeding fish anymore. Even though this tank is my very first planted tank, and I'm super proud, I'm just not really interested in the fish. Aren't really getting the care they deserve. I kind of neglect this tank, and with my new tank setup, the attention, I need to put more attention towards that tank compared to this tank. But this tank, I have no idea when I'm going to be closing down, so I'm going to give you guys an update anyways. So I do have a couple of crypts in the foreground, which are doing great, as well as my narrow leaf java fern, which I love. It's one of my favorite plants. It has just taken over this piece of wood I added on. If you go way back on my channel, like 2 years back, you can see when I first added the java fern, and there's just like a couple little sprigs, and this is just taking over the piece of wood, and I sell so much of it too. So next up, we're going to talk about my planted bowl, which nothing has really changed with. I added some Aquarium soil powder, the Tropica stuff, to the bottom, just around my glossostigma in the bottom corner. But this tank is doing great like always, super easy and super beautiful. In the future, like I said, I'm probably going to make a series about creating your own planted bowl and all that stuff. Kind of like I did with my beginner planted tank series, even though I wouldn't recommend a planted bowl for a beginner. But they are super fun, and they're good practice if you want to become a better aquascaper and all that, because it's on such a small scale and it's so cheap and everything. They're just a super fun activity to do. So now we're looking at my 7.5 gallon cube. I'm not going to really give any updates on this. Just going to give you guys a sneak peek. That's what the next video is going to be about. I don't know when it's coming out because this is pre-recorded, but this tank's doing good so far. But I want to talk about my 5.5 gallon shrimp tank. That has since been shut down, and that is to set up this one. So my parents said they wanted less fish tanks. I agreed. I'm going away to university soon, right? I've got one more year in high school, and then I don't know if I'm moving away or if I'm staying in Ottawa. So I said, you know what, I should probably start shutting down my fish tanks. Not all of them, but some. So I'm gonna I shut down my shrimp tank in order to get this one, and I'm also gonna shut down my 10 gallon and just have this one, my bowl, and the 40 breeder. So I'm gonna downgrade a lot more, just so it can be more manageable if I do stay. And if I don't stay, so I don't have to worry about any of my fish tanks at home and have easy to keep ones for my parents to take care of while I'm away. Anyways, guys, that about does it for the video. Join me back either Tuesday or Thursday for a video on the 1 week update of my 7.5 gallon planted cube. Anyways, I hope you guys all enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you guys want more planted tank content. Anyways, this was KalemsFishtanks, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.